I did worship before I came to Rhema, so I didn't actually think I needed to go to school of worship. I thought, I've already done this before, so what do I need to go to school? At the time that I started school of worship, I became the worship leader for the Rhema youth group, or Access Worship. And having those two experiences hand in hand were amazing. It was invaluable. There were so many things that I didn't know. There were so many things that I needed to learn. And it was just me getting past the idea that I've done this before. I've led worship. I don't need any more education. But the education that I got at School of Worship has been not only valuable to my time, as the Access Worship leader, but even to my time now as the Rhema Bible Church worship leader.
They have so many practical skills they can teach you, whether you've been a part of a band already, or you're a seasoned saint and you're already leading at your church, or you're wanting to figure out how to develop your leadership skills. They teach you things from all over the board. They teach you how to everything from a musical standpoint, and how to read and write your charts for your band, all the way to how to be led by the Holy Spirit and how to lead your band and your church and your congregation into God's presence.
It wasn't just for me learning about worship, it was also how to lead others into worship. And that was just such a beautiful thing, because I really didn't know, but God was equipping me for my future and what I was going to be doing, what He was calling me to do, that I would actually lead others. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved music, I loved to worship, and I just wanted to learn more. And I really felt the Lord calling me to actually go to third year. The spiritual side of what I learned during School of Worship, it was how to worship intimately with the Lord, how to get closer with Him. The instructors were so anointed and taught me so many things and God's heart on worship. But it wasn't just the spiritual side of things for third year, it was definitely the practical side of things too. I felt like I grew so much.
I use a lot of the things that I was taught during that time. There's nothing that you can put on the value of the education that you get that allows you to be a better worship leader. And that's what Rhema School of Worship did for me. It made me a better worship leader, and I'm very appreciative of it.
Currently, I'm over praise and worship, sound, media, and camera. And every one of those areas, I got to learn from someone who's been doing it for years, who's been behind the scenes. I've got to learn from the wisdom, the skill set, and the depth in God that my instructors had. God has got some awesome and amazing things that each instructor has to impart to you and bring such wisdom and such experience to the preparation and the supply that you have. You can go into the next step and you can go into that part of life cultivated in your skill set and with a supply that you can give to a ministry, to a pastor, to a church, to your own ministry, and to the call that God has for your life.
Rhema School of Worship really helped me and created a very firm foundation for the things that I'm doing today. I never actually really sang. I just was a drummer at Rhema, and then I played acoustic as well. And so the things that I learned in Rhema School of Worship really propelled my singing, really gave me a better ability with singing and then playing the keys. Honestly, if I didn't have that year of training and the people there in the Rhema School of Worship that taught and led by example, I would not be where I am today. All the teachers there, they're very highly trained and qualified, and they're just overall great people.
I took piano lessons when I was a little girl, but I really didn't quite know how to play the piano. I could play chords and accompany myself by the time I graduated from third year. And once again, that was like God was just giving me another little thing for my tool belt. He knew down the road I would have to accompany myself and I would have to accompany a choir and teach others.
I use every single skill that I've learned from Rhema School of Worship every time I step up on the stage and I lead worship, or if I'm the guitarist for that day. The value that Rhema School of Worship has to offer is just off the charts, and I recommend it for anybody who's considering it.
I definitely recommend Rhema School of Worship 100%. Honestly, that just propelled me into the ministry that I have today. If you're wanting to be a worship pastor of any capacity, if you even want to be a part of a worship team, I highly recommend going to the Rhema School of Worship for the third year program.
Just go for it because God has awesome things for you.